Hey, and welcome to this brand new tutorial on Scaleform and UDK, which is a user request. And it's my first user request tutorial I believe I've ever done, as well as the first Scaleform related tutorial I've done in over 3 years now. As you can see, the date on these original Scaleform vids is like June 2010. So yeah, it's been a while, and the reason for that is twofold really. First of all, I did these at a time when it was new and interesting to me. I actually used Flash a lot at that time for other purposes, like making logos and things. And then Scaleform, which is now part of Autodesk, requested that I do up some videos to help Unreal users get to grips with Scaleform. And now this original series has hundreds of thousands of views total, and they're by far my most popular videos, even though I do plenty of other UDK videos, creative videos, such as my Jack of All Trades series. Just so you know, I was originally a little irritated when all my other videos kind of got ignored, but fair enough. I understand that this is an important area to just about anybody who makes games. Every game needs a menu system, it needs a HUD and all that, so I'm glad that I could help people in an easy to understand manner. That's a comment that I often get. My videos are very clear, I speak clearly, I take pride in that, and you know, I used to plan my videos out very carefully, script them out, and I'm doing that here a little bit, but not as much. These days I try and take it a little more casually, and I hope that that will be something that's kind of an evolution, because I was always kind of too serious before. So I'm glad that these videos are appreciated. But that's the second reason, and maybe I was shooting myself in the foot ignoring requests only based on what I wanted to do. But I really want to show people all the exciting stuff that I've learned in UDK, not just menu systems and Flash and things that I don't work with that much on a day-to-day basis. So I hope you guys understand and take some time and check these other vids out, because I focus a lot on ways to make you more productive in Unreal Engine in general, how to be a power user and take advantage of unknown tricks. I do a lot with UDK, like making casual games and an animated series you'll be seeing the first trailer for shortly, all of which utilize these tricks. And what you're seeing on your screen here, while I talk away here for a minute, is actually an environment from that series. Among other things, I teach the power of Kismet, the same stuff I've touched on here for these menu tutorials, but doing way more exciting and powerful things with it than just menus, like creating entire games. And if you're interested in hearing more on that, I'll have another video on that very, very shortly. But first, let's get back to business about Scaleform. Yeah, I got a new computer in the past couple of years, and I didn't even have Scaleform set up in Flash Professional for like 2 years. So it was a bit of a hassle to set that all up again just to do a user request, and I've gotten a few of them. But up until today, I haven't really felt like going through all that. But today, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just the simplicity of the request, maybe it was the way he asked it, but I decided, why the hell not? So here's the request. J. May says, can I ask, is it possible in UDK to open an interactive Flash file via an in-game trigger? For example, if you walk over a bridge and in doing so it pauses the game and opens a Flash menu with various buttons that you can interact with. And I responded, yeah, that would be possible. Just connect the trigger output to a GFX movie node in Kismet. It's really pretty straightforward, at least in theory, right? And I've done this sort of thing before, more or less. I know how it could be done. So without pre-planning this video too much, I think I can take care of this request, show him how to do it. He says, the tutorial could be very basic, perhaps 2 ground planes joined by a platform. As the player crosses the platform from one plane to the other, the game pauses and an interactive Flash menu pops up on the screen. Then you click a button and the Flash file goes away and the game resumes. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't need to go to the trouble of even making two planes or a bridge or whatever. We'll just have an area in the map where I put a trigger. You can see where the trigger is, and as soon as you walk into that area, you get like some kind of dialogue pop up on the screen. So yes, aside from being initiated by a trigger, it's essentially the exact same process I went through in the original videos. Create whatever buttons you want with whatever functionality you want. Then, as per the request, include a button that closes the menu and returns you to the game. And I guess he also wanted it to be paused while the dialogue or menu comes up. I think we can do that, yeah. So we would call this a mid-game menu or an info pop-up or a dialogue. Very often you might meet a character in an RPG or something who wants to say something to you, and you could definitely do that with this method. It could be a screen that lets you know that you discovered a secret area in the game as soon as you step into the specified radius. Triggers in UDK can take many forms. Let's just go back into UDK here. What do we want here? Yeah, let's just choose one. So let's go ahead and add a trigger here to our environment. Add actor, trigger. Triggers can take many forms. They could be buttons or keys or proximity based. You can set that in the properties of this trigger. I think there are different types of triggers also. But in this instance, the user wants it to be proximity based. So really the first thing we're going to do is go into Flash, set up the dialog or menu screen we want to appear. It'll be very, very simple. And then I'll take you back here into Unreal and show you how to do the level in Kismet goodness. Since it's been a while since I've actually actively done any of the Scaleform business, fair warning, I might make some mistakes along the way, so please bear with me and my tendency to smack my lips or mutter in frustration, my long pauses when I'm thinking of what to say. And right now my stomach is growling quite a bit. I haven't eaten anything yet today. I read this guy's comment and I decided to start preparing to do this tutorial immediately. So yeah, first thing is first, we're going to go into Flash. But before we get started, one more thing. If you've never made a menu using Scaleform, I highly recommend that the first thing you do is watch my original tutorials, and for good measure, do a Google search on setting up Scaleform for UDK. You just type something like UDK set up Scaleform, and that'll take you right to the Unreal Developer Network, and there's a link directly about Scaleform. And you know, it's a great resource. It has information that's more up to date than what's in my old videos from 2010. And all the files you need to get Scaleform set up with Flash Professional, which you'll need to follow along, they're all in the UDK binaries Flash folder in your UDK install. So in Flash Professional, start a new ActionScript 2 project with the resolution that you need. I can't remember what the optimal resolution would be. Probably something like 720p, which is like 1280 by 720. But for this one, I'm just gonna go with the default, which is 550 by 400. I don't really give a crap. I'm just doing this as an example of how to get the functionality that you need. I'm not gonna go into any detail really on making this fancy looking. So getting rid of my old buttons, and let's say this is an RPG and you find a secret area in the level. We're going to have some text that informs you that you found this secret area. Whoop-de-doo, and then it'll have a little button below it where you can close the dialogue and continue on your merry way. So all we really need is like a square here. Let's choose something a little more pleasant color-wise. And then we can put some text over top. Huzzah! Secretal. Yeah, I've come up with a new word here. You have discovered the secretal magic lands of the Eldars. Sounds nerdy enough, right? Oh, gotta have 3 exclamation marks. That's important. Alright, there we have our magic dialog screen. Then we want one more. Just a button right here that says OK. Thank you for informing me of this fantastic thing. OK. All right. And we want this to be a button, so we right-click, convert that to symbol, button. Doesn't matter what the name is. Right-click again, go to Actions. And now we're going to add our script that makes it communicate with Unreal. Once again, I'm going to do this using the fs command method on press. Funny brackets. Fs command. Then choose your arbitrary name here. Close menu. Or close dialog, since maybe you have some other menus. Yeah, semicolon. And that should be all we need here, really. And we can save this out. We're going to have to save this into the Flash folder somewhere in our UDK install, if I remember correctly. But first we'll just save our project file. I've already saved it into some folder, but you might have to save as, put it somewhere on your hard drive where you remember where it is, and then you go to Export Movie. Yeah, I mean, normally it publishes the SWF into the same folder as your project folder, but that's not going to work for Unreal Development Kit. It's going to need to go into the UDK game folder under Flash. I have this folder set up. Let's call it like dialog 1. And yeah, I think that's it's just about all we need in Flash. And now we can go into Unreal Development Kit and implement it with our trigger. So open your content browser, and we're going to want to import the Shockwave Flash file into a new package or an existing package for your game. On the folder you saved it in, import package test2. For my purposes for this tutorial, that's fine. None of these options matter for me in this case. So I'm not importing any images. And here it is. Save our package. Okay. So up here we have Open Unreal Kismet. Try and resize this so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, here's where hopefully my memory kicks in. Right click and you see this new event using trigger 1. And that would be like, I forget whether it should be used or touch. Let's try touch. set up an instigator also for your player. New variable player, and connect that to instigator. Now essentially what happens is once the trigger is touched, it's going to feed to the node that tells it to open the GFX movie. So action, GFX UI, I believe, open GFX movie. And open our content browser. Go down to your new package. Test, where the heck is it? Test 2. Select your movie. You're going to need to type it in here somewhere. Yeah. Or use selected object in content browser. Boom, there it is. Let's run this and see what we have so far. Alright, it would be handy if we could actually see where our trigger is in the map, so let's do this too. Go to like engine, make sure you have static meshes selected, and down at the bottom you have this handy dandy plane. I use it for all kinds of things. Slap it in the map there, rotate it. Yeah, good enough. Okay, and we'll move it over to where the trigger is. All right, let's try this again. I think I have to set something in the trigger, don't I? Pretty sure. Maybe I should be using a trigger volume for this. Let's try trigger volume. Where is my builder brush? See, this is one of the things I try and teach in all my UDK videos. Just don't be afraid to experiment. Like, maybe this does something. Oh, maybe this might work. Maybe not. Just don't be afraid of failure. And don't be afraid to break things. It's really not going to turn out all that bad. And I know I'll get this solved here in a jiffy. Add volume, click for options. Should be like trigger volume somewhere, you know. So then we can change this, I think. Did I create the volume or didn't I? Trigger volume, yep. Alright, assign trigger volume 0 to events. So make sure you have the correct brush selected first of all, not your builder brush. You want the actual trigger volume to be selected. Let's test this again. There you see, it actually worked without doing all that much. But then we want, sorry for, again, for my lip smacking of frustration. Take focus, capture input, start paused. That would just mean we don't want the animation in the movie itself to play. We don't need that. Display with HUD off. Capture keys. Should be good. Let's try it again. I would think that if we want to pause the game, perhaps we should have a new action. I'm just thinking to myself how I can do this, so forgive me if I'm not saying much. Miscellaneous console command. I think there's like a pause console command. So if the movie opens successfully, we can have this console command. Add one. Pause. I hope this works, and you know, it might just be that I can't do anything. Maybe I won't even be able to use the menu, but we'll try it. First I'll try the actual command. Yeah, it pauses the game. And if you do it again, it unpauses it. All right. But it's not triggering for some reason after our movie opens. So we could also try this. Make it trigger at the same time. Alright, for whatever reason that's not working. Probably because I haven't set the target. So let's go back to doing it this way. Success into in. Try it again. There you go. But the problem is really that I can't see my mouse cursor, so it definitely has paused the game all the way. Yeah, this could be slightly trickier than I suspected. You know, there's another method that we could do to make it seem like the game is paused. It might affect the menu too, but no, I'm really just about finding workarounds for you guys to get the functionality that you want. And I'm sure you can find better methods that I can at least help guide you part way. Slow-mo 0.01 something. And that way, really everything around you will be effectively halted, including, I think, your movement, maybe your movement. But there are other ways of disabling movement. At least the characters around you and stuff won't be attacking you while you're in the menu. I don't know why it doesn't seem to be taking the focus though. Minimap HUD, project UI, front end, pause menu. We could try that. You know, there's all kinds of options to explore that. You know, I used Scaleform in the early days when there weren't quite so many options, so I'm not really familiar with all of it. But I'm willing to experiment. That seems to pause it. Maybe a little too well. I can't seem to escape now. So forget that one for now. Front end, title screen. And we can experiment with a few of these. The other problem is that I can't see what's going on, like my mouse cursor becomes hidden. I think there's a node that also unhides the mouse cursor, so we can try that. Let's just go back to this original one for now. Let's try and find that mouse cursor thing. Shut up, dog. Yeah, it's my Kismet kit once. Don't think I actually had one for showing the mouse. So it should already be there. Toggle mouse cursor. Yeah. Okay. So maybe we want to have the toggle mouse cursor first. Maybe even before the open GFX movie. What I did was, besides moving this to a closer location to where I spawn, so I don't have to walk over there every time, all I did was I removed the slow-mo console command. I don't know if that was directly affecting anything, but then I also switched the order of the toggle mouse cursor. And sometimes it's really just simple things like that that are preventing something from working, the order of the nodes. And I mean, you would think that it doesn't matter which order you toggle the mouse cursor, it should still show up when the movie is open, but that was it. I just put open GFX movie first, toggle mouse cursor, make sure it's to enable, as it was, and then yeah. And here we have a working mouse, and we can actually see where the button is. And again, you can make your own mouse cursor, as I did in my tutorials, but I didn't feel like doing that this time, and frankly, I just need to see where I'm moving my mouse. So now we actually need to make this mouse do something, this button rather. So what we can actually do is change the console command to get rid of the console command, put in an fs command event, I think. Or how did that work? I mean, like I said, it's been a while since I did this. GFX UI fs command, yeah. So there's the listener. Max trigger count 0. Doesn't matter how many times. Needs the name, movie. I guess it needs to know which movie is it's listening for. So copy this, paste, and the fs command was like close dialog, I think. Go back into Flash and check. Yeah, close dialog. So after that, then it should close the movie player. And I think what we need to do here is set up a variable for our movie player. And that should be of the type object, I would think, unless there's a specific one that they have here. Yeah, probably just an object. Hook that up to movie player and then hook this one up to the same variable. And we'll see what happens when I click the button, if anything. Nothing yet. Unload. Targets. Should probably try that. Nice. Alright, so guess what? I actually got it working. And in the end, I think it was a couple of different things. First of all, I forgot to reiterate that when you're publishing from Flash, you need to make sure that it's set to Flash Player 8 Action Script 2. So if you haven't had that, if you don't have that set already, you might want to make sure that's all good and re-export it, re-import it into Unreal Development Kit in your content browser. I've created one more movie, but I don't think it really matters. But just hit re-import, and then that'll make sure that all the script is there. And then the other thing that I did, here I made a mistake by setting the same thing here, SWF movie test 2 dialog 2. You don't need to set that in target, because what it's really expecting is this same instance. It's looking for an instance of that dialog 2 rather than the actual package resource, if you get my drift. So just make sure nothing is set there. Have this movie player set to a variable that's shared with this OpenGFX movie. That's all there is to it. And yeah, one other thing actually. It's not going to work with the default movie player type. It works with a couple of other types. It works with front-end title screen, I think. It works with like scoreboard. So let's just show you here. And I have my little debug text there, just to make sure it works. So really all we need to do now is prevent the player from moving and prevent the other enemies that you might have in your map from moving around you. And that's because I don't think pause menu worked. You can try it. Maybe it did work. Game is paused. Nope. Now you see it's not responding, so you need to choose a certain type. We need to kind of have a workaround for this, and maybe one of these different types might work. But I don't know. I don't have time to go testing all of them. So let's try scoreboard, and then we can bring back our miscellaneous. Bring back our console command. Put that in the output of the toggle mouse cursor. Attach the target to the all players. Ugh, it's totally unorganized. Add the console command slow-mo 0.01. Let's try it. So I mean, you can still move around and see everything at full speed, but now if you have enemies in your map, I think they should freeze. And yeah, unfreeze works. And then you could reset the game back to normal speed by doing this. Copy, paste, keep the target, slow-mo 1. Then it'll set it back to normal speed after the movie is closed. There's like a cinematic mode though. It's actually down in toggle cinematic mode. And we want to put this before the original open GFX movie. Drag that on over. Target player. Disable movement, disable turning, hide player. That's kind of arbitrary. Disable input. We can leave the input going. Hide the HUD. Nah. Dead bodies. Yeah, can leave all that. So let's try again. Yippee! Now it doesn't move, and now our enemies shouldn't move either. Oops. And then we need to have another toggle cinematic mode over here. So copy and paste. Disable. So have that after the game is reset to full speed, so you can move again. Let's try it. Can't move. Okay. What? Now what on earth is going on? Aha. Yeah, we don't want to have that out going back to the OpenGFX movie all over again. So just make sure it's set to disable, and there should be nothing after that. Yeah. Now we're talking. So this is pretty much what the user asked for, I think. Yeah, there you have it. A Scaleform menu or dialog that's triggered by proximity. Can walk all around our map here. And we've arrived at the magic lands of the Eldars. And our life is now complete. So yeah, then it's closed via the dialog itself, via a button. So I hope this is what you wanted, JMA, and I hope it helps a few others out. Sorry it took 50 minutes to do, but let me know what other requests you guys might have. I should be able to get those done a little quicker now that I've refamiliarized myself. Whether Scaleform related or UDK related in general, preferably the latter. Please check out my Unreal DB website as well, that I have here. And the Kismet Kit articles at this address, unrealdb.com/db/kismetkit. I'll be doing supplemental vids on this topic, the hidden powers of Kismet, how to make games in Kismet. I'll be showing lots of demos of different game types. I'm doing another video very shortly that shows some of the types of games I've started on, like prototypes of 2D platformer games, side-scrollers, and all kinds of cool little things. But yeah, these articles here, if you get started reading these, they'll get you started on your way to making actual games entirely in Kismet, or at least prototypes. And if you're a creative person in general, an artist, do check out my Jack of All Trades videos too on the Voxhouse Studio channel. That's all. Peace.